Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, last week was very interesting. Sideshow had a lot of great reveals, a lot of conversations in regards to what the company's doing, a lot of good stuff from Hot Toys, things that we need to pay attention to, really beautiful stuff. But also there were other pre-orders over the weekend, and today I want to talk about them. I want to talk about Beast Kingdom. They just released a new Superman statue that is very different than anything that we have seen before. We also have a Boromir statue for the Lord of the Rings collection by Aaron Studios. Very good, very interesting piece. And Nexum Studios released a 1/4 scale Swamp Thing statue that has created so much controversy, and I want to cover that as well today. First, we're going to start here at Beast Kingdom, and I will have the link in the description for those who are interested. This piece, the Superman statue, is also available at Sideshow. This is based on the Superman statue, the big Superman statue on the Dawn of Justice, the Batman v Superman film, and it's very, very different. The price for this is $249.99, $250, which is very good. It's a good price, and this is a really huge piece. It doesn't give us that scale, of course. This is the big statue in the film. I would say it's unique and different because we always get Superman statues, and they of course are in color, all of that. Nothing based on a particular statue in a film, so that makes it very unique. I don't think that this is something that a lot of people would be intrigued to have, but I'm sure that some people, particularly those who are big fans of Zack Snyder's The Justice League, the Batman v Superman films, they love the Snyderverse, they're going to love this one. It is limited to 3,000 pieces worldwide, which is a huge number, but it's very unique. It's something that I personally would not get for myself. Many of you know my thoughts in regards to Batman v Superman. If you don't, then watch my review of that film. I would say it was improved in the end when they did the director's cut, all of that. And I think the most recent, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League is a good film. It's a good film. And I feel that improved a lot of the things and fixed a lot of the things that were wrong with this film. The statue is different. It's something that is not, I would say, for everyone. But that price, it's really, really good. $250, that is an amazing price. And it's amazing that this is one thing, one of the reasons why I mentioned Beast Kingdom here in the channel is because I'm really amazed by what they're doing with the pricing. Look at the statue here. Definitely it's huge. It's 40 centimeters. Now, another thing that is super cool about the statue, very cool. If you remember in the film, somebody put some graffiti on it and it says false god. Well, you can actually see the same thing here on the statue. You know, with the normal view, naked eye, you don't see it, but it comes, I think, with this UV light lantern, and you can actually pretty much turn the light on. It comes out purple, and then you can see this false god on the statue, which is kind of, I don't know, it's intriguing that somebody would love to have something like that in a statue at home. I don't know, it just I don't know, it's just weird that they decide to go for that, but it's kind of cool, very interesting, and I think it's just maybe a gimmick, but it's a really cool gimmick. All right, guys, now we're here at Aaron Studios, and we're looking at the Boromir BDSR Scale 110 Lord of the Rings statue, $150. Some people may not like the price. I think it is fair based on what they have done before. I'd rather pay $149 for I would say, main character in the story, even though he's like a secondary character, but it's an important character in comparison to paying almost the same for Oryx. I think this is more in line with what should the price be. Now, the release time for this is going to be between January and March of 2022. The sculpt in the face is really, really cool. Look at that shield. I love the shield. And I love that he's holding that sword, and the way they do the whole thing. It is a really good pose. And one thing I can see that it's something that it happens a lot with Iron Studios. They're really fascinated with skulls. It seems that they have skulls almost in everything. I've seen that they do that now with the Lord of the Rings, but they have done the same thing with the Mortal Kombat, of course. So it's like this fascination with skulls and a lot of statues they produce. Interesting. It's just a choice, I think, from the artist. And I love the texture in the garments. Really good. I like that. Look at that. There's a lot of detail. Whoever did the paint here did a really good job. Really nice paint. Again, really love this one. I'm very impressed with this one in comparison to some of the previous statues. I think this is a more in line with what I envisioned for this collection. And I feel that the job is really good. I think the price is fair. I know some people will complain about the price. It's understandable. We are living in difficult economical times, and a lot of people also are concerned about those things, and everything is going up in price. And I mentioned this before, and some prices are, in my opinion, ridiculous. And I would say that this is fair for the times, and I think the detail that they added here for this figure is really, really good. Look at that. Like it. I think it's good. The paint job is good. The sculpt is really, really good. And I mentioned many times before, I would love for Iron Studios to really mention the artists involved in the production of these pieces. And yes, it's not that big. It's a 1/10 scale. The base is not huge. But yeah, it is cool. If you're into the Lord of the Rings collection, then definitely this is an addition, and it's one of the best. Alright guys, now we're moving on to XM Studios. This is a 1/4 scale statue. The edition size is super limited. The max is 499 pieces. The retail price for this in Singapore dollars is $1,300. If you're a Prestige member, you have to, there's a 10% discount, so you pay $1,169.10 plus shipping. You have to pay a deposit of 400 Singapore dollars, and this is available in Southeast Asia. The artist here involved is Riccardo Federici, is pretty much the designer, the artist that this was taking inspiration from. Martin Augusta Simi is the sculptor. He has been doing a lot of the statues for XM Studios. He's one of the main sculptors there. And we know the XM Studios design and development team is involved in the whole process. All right, now we're looking at the pictures, and I'm telling you, this piece has caused and continues to do so a lot of controversy. Over the weekend, there was so much back and forth in social media. A lot of people call this a lazy attempt of Swamp Thing. I read those comments before, many people attacking it. Some people got banned from some groups and all of that, which was really funny in some ways because it is amazing. I know we are all passionate about with this collectibles. I am passionate about this. But one thing I have learned over the years is that there's more than meets the eye. There's a lot more than just opinions. There's more than what we think. Of course, our impression is this. I think that this is a really nice sculpt. The detail in the base, I think, is a fantastic base. All of that. And we're gonna look, go in detail with the pictures. But like many, I'm not really a fan of the pose. I think it doesn't. It is different, and at the same time, like I know that a lot of people love this brooding type of Swamp Thing because in their mind is this guy that is so melancholic, and there's a lot of drama in his life, and he's depressed and all of that, and they want that image. But at the same time, he's a warrior, and I feel that this compels that story a little bit more, or tries to go into that part of the Swamp Thing as a warrior and not necessarily just as a sad being walking in the swamp being sad about his life, although it's part of it, it's part of the story. So it comes with two different portraits, and this is the one with the beard and all of that. Interesting, but I love the classic more. I love, again, the sculpt. Simi has done a terrific job with the sculpt. Look at that, the detail there. The painter too have done a terrific job. There's so much detail. The sculpt is perfect, in my opinion. The sculpt is good. Love the base, really good. Look at the detail. All this from the swamp, the frog. I just noticed that now. All these plants, all of that is super, super cool. This is really an amazing thing. Now, the one thing it is not really natural with the swamp is this type of plants, the carnivorous type of plants. But this is more like from tropical regions, not from the swamp, at least not from the bio. So I feel that's something that perhaps is out of line there. It was just more inspiration from someone that is technically considers the swamp more like from the tropics. But I love the wood detail there. It's very interesting. But yes, the pose, this is something that I'm in conflict with it because I like the sculpt. Don't get me wrong, I like the sculpt. And I love this face sculpt too. I love that he's kind of in a fighting. He's angry. He's showing the teeth and all that, as he normally do sometimes in the comics. But the pose again, and I have to align myself with the other collectors saying that it doesn't really scream at you as the Swamp Thing. And on that end, I feel that the Sideshow and in this case the Prime One Studio versions, it feels more of the Swamp Thing that we have in our mind, at least from the covers. And this is different, and in many ways it is good to be different. Not everything has to be the same, because this is what I feel is that if in this case XM would have done something very similar, then XM would be accused of being a copycat company. And companies sometimes have to deal with so much backlash and so much criticism, and there's always going to be haters. And XM has a lot of haters, people that for some reason don't like XM. And there are people there that they claim to like XM, but at the same time, they're always there just to actually bring the work down or the artist down. And they're always, conflicting everyone, and they saying this and saying that. And the thing that I hated the most is that they try to make a comparison with the Hulk statue, the one that he's changing into, Banner changing into Hulk. But they mirror the picture, the photo into the other. So a lot of people that do not know, they don't know the difference. They were actually comparing both, and actually they're on different angles. And so in other words, somebody is just, in many ways, somebody is changing the narrative by faking a picture or making a picture that is not the actual piece, and trying to make an argument with it. And I feel that that's a lot of misinformation. And the problem is that there's so much of a cheap mentality in the hobby that people, they just follow, you know, the trend. If somebody says this and they present you an image, if you don't know the facts, then you're gonna go with that, and those are not the actual facts. They are on opposite sides, and there's differences. But yes, in many ways, we have to come to this conclusion. There are so many poses out there that you can make. The most common one is the Captain Morgan knee. That's the one that has been done to death by many companies, to death, starting with Sideshow, but many companies were doing it. There's so many different poses. Of course, Bowen started with the museum pose, the classic museum Bowen pose that is also being used by other companies. So there's so many poses that you can have, and this is another one that if you can come and trying to find comparisons, you're gonna compare this to so many statues, even by XM Studios. They produce this type of pose. It's kind of like an XM pose by now, and it's good. I like the semi-action of it, but again, it's just not something that in the end it screams to you, oh, this is the Swamp Thing. You know, there's been so many great Swamp Things in my opinion. I think the most classic one for me is William Paquette's that was on for DC Collectibles back in the day with Vertigo, even before it was called DC Collectibles, DC Direct. It was just DC, it was Vertigo statues. I love that statue. It's a classic statue, a smaller statue. I think Sideshow is really, really good. I think perhaps the best. And then of course Prime 1 has done something very similar. And I think this is trying to be different, and I love what they've done with the sculpt. It's really good, but I feel that with the pose, if they can adjust it, I think to please the customers, please a lot of the fans, I think it will be well received. And in the end, I'm telling you this, doesn't matter if people criticize this piece, this is going to do well regardless in the aftermarket because the numbers are really small. 499 pieces for this large, this 1/4 scale statue, which is something that they do average. I feel is good. It really adds to the value of this piece, the collectible value, and a lot of people love that. But man, the paint job is so good, the detail is good. And I like it. I like the face sculpt here. I love the paint eyes, the red in the eyes, really good. And the Dr. Fate mask right there as detailed, really cool. So I think it's good. You know, I'm not saying that it's bad. I know that it's not for everyone. I wouldn't call it a disappointment because a lot of people are calling it as disappointment. This is the thing that gets on me, is that people are calling this lazy. And to me, it's like people that always say stuff like that, first of all, they have no idea of what really entails to do this work. There's nothing lazy about this. These are 3D pieces. They sculpted this in 3D. The sculpt is the most difficult part. The posing is the easiest part. You can pose any of these figures any way you want it. But the sculpt is the one, that's the part that you have to add detail, you have to add so much stuff to it. So there's nothing lazy about it. You know, artists spend hours, days, weeks, months, you know, really improving this. They're going through revisions, they go through all of that. And, you know, they are hopeful that people are going to receive something in a good way. You know, that's the hope of everyone. Nobody wants to make something bad. And ultimately it comes into the eyes of a lot of collectors that have no idea of art. They're not artists. They call themselves artists, but they're not. And they just simply tear this apart based on things that actually can be fixed. You know, this is the thing. If you want, like I said many times before, you want more bees, then you need to get more honey. You need to be nicer to these people. You need to be, if you want to express some feedback and all of that. I know some people say, well, I'm blunt. I'm blunt too. And I'm not afraid to speak up my mind. I'm not. But at the same time, I've learned over the years that, you know, when you're dealing in this type of business or any business, you're dealing with people. And you have to understand how to move people to act in your behalf. If you don't know how to do that, then the problem is not the company. The problem is not the product. The problem is you, because you don't know how to speak your mind. You don't, in a way that is respectful. And unfortunately, people don't have that sense of respect anymore. Again, I love the sculpt. I'm just not happy with the post. But if you can express that without insulting, without calling XM lazy or copycats or doing all sort of things or making this type of creating controversy and getting, you know, I even saw some people really get into heated conversations with the owner of the company. I don't find that as helpful. It's not helpful. It doesn't make things easier. It makes things more complicated. Then people, they get frustrated because they get banned from groups and they say, why I got banned? Well, you got banned because you don't know how to express yourself in the nice way. You don't know how to talk to people. You can claim to be blunt, but you're not blunt. You're just a jerk. And the problem with a lot of people is that they don't know how to talk to people. You know, and there's so many jerks in this hobby. Like there's so many jerks in life. Sometimes people are unwilling to compromise into something, and because they have this, you know, vision in their mind, they think that that should be the only way. Now, I'm telling you guys, coming pretty much to the end of this video, I would say this. I like what XM has done here in some ways. I like the sculpt. I like it. I do think the pose is not, I would say, the most or the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the Swamp Thing. In that way, I prefer a more classic approach to it. And I would say that if XM can fix that, I think you have a winner in your hands. You have one of the best Swamp Thing sculpts that we have seen ever. And it is there. You know, yeah, I would say Sideshow nailed it. And even Prime One did. And I feel that XM is kind of close to it with the sculpt, but not so much with the pose. And that's something that if they want a better reception for it, they're going to have to improve it. And yes, it's going to cause a lot of controversy. Regardless, whatever XM does, people are going to criticize the company. Every company has the defenders and detractors, and controversy is the bread of every day in this hobby, like in any other hobby. Ultimately, we have to take it as it is. You know, we have to understand that these companies are trying their best. You know, it doesn't mean that they always achieve that. But calling them lazy is not making things better for them, or it's not improving the hobby, or it's not making you an expert. It only show who you really are, a jerk in the end. You know, you're being a jerk, and you may be the nicest guy in the world, but if you don't know how to express yourself, then I'm sorry, you are closing doors in front of you. Well, my friends, what is your opinion? What do you think about these pieces that we covered today? What do you think about Swamp Thing? You're not happy with it. You think it's too pricey. You think they fail. Let me know, of course, in a respectful way, in the comments below. And also let me know what you think about Superman and what you think about Boromir. My friends, I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
You wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a